that I'm gonna start trying to stream some more again. This time for uh, games that I'm playing that offer the option of multiple choice to be made. I'm gonna add what I'm referring to as a twist of fate. Basically, I'm gonna do a dice roll, or sometimes in games I'll ask if there's anyone watching the stream if they want to basically pick the choice I make. I don't know how I'm going to apply that Darkest Dungeon yet. It might be in the case that my loot pack is full and we come across something. What do I drop to make room for the new loot that I found? So in those instances, it'll be like that. I thought about doing a random dice roll basically to figure out what quest I take. Could lead to some interesting situations where a completely underprepared team ends up going on a Darkest quest or something to that extent. Don't really know how it's going to apply. Later on, I'm thinking of starting a new Monster Hunter character where before I go on any quest, I dice roll to figure out what weapon I use. I have toyed around with a lot of the different weapons throughout my time playing Monster Hunter World. I've gotten used to some of them, but some of them are definitely better than others. I particularly think I do relatively well with the bow. It's been my main weapon throughout the course of my 300-some hour play so far. And then also pretty good with the long sword. However, some weapons just don't work well, especially if you're not with a group, such as the Battle Horn. It's not a bad weapon. I think that in the right context, any of the weapons in the game work. It's just underutilized, and it definitely does better with a team to receive the buffs. So that's another aspect I'm going to be doing. Other games just don't add much to it, or detracts too much from a team that, unless if I'm playing a full group, I'm not likely to do. Like, for example, Overwatch, if I did a random dice roll to pick a character, well, if I end up playing as a Widowmaker in a situation where you absolutely do not want a Widowmaker, next thing you know, I'm getting slammed with reports for, negative gaming. And I just would rather avoid that. I don't think I'll actually get slammed for that, but another thing too is most of the time I play Mystery Heroes there, I have no choice over that anyway. Also, since I play Mystery Heroes, I'm fairly decent. A lot of characters. It's not going to be that interesting to see me supposedly get slammed into a character I don't do well with when I have one or two characters I main when I play quick play with friends, but other than that, it's Mystery Heroes. I don't choose. The RNG does anyway. But yeah, that's a couple examples of what I plan on doing with these A Twist of Fate playthroughs. Some games don't lend to that. I'll try to completely remove that moniker from them anyway. Such as Devil May Cry, if I get back to it. I want to start trying to Let's Play my Call of Duty games. Twist of Fate might find a way to work into zombies and possibly Battle Royale. I suppose it could work into multiplayer as well, and being like, okay, what type of weapon am I gonna take? As I generally just kind of cycle from game to game, whether I take like an SMG or a sniper rifle, so on and so forth. Or an RNG to create a class. It might appear to be stupid on paper, but then we start rolling and we find out it just wrecks the game. Who knows? But anyway, that's basically what I'm going to start doing with these Twist of Fate videos. So with that, I'm going to start loading Darkest Stream, which is going to be my gameplay. I have played Darkest Dungeon before. I've yet to complete the game, as you can probably see if you look there. My main gameplay, I'm at week 98, and I've beat some bosses in that. I probably just haven't made the best choices in what to upgrade first to make the quickest playthrough. But yeah, without any further ado, I'll start loading that. I'm going to start tweaking some things on the stream before I get back to it. So just kind of enjoyed a little like cutscene thing, I guess.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
Alright, so it appears to have loaded. I think I got my stream settings changed the way I want them. I just have to check a quick text I received, and I'll be back to it. Alright, back to it. This first little tidbit of the game is usually pretty easy and straightforward. Sometimes the RNG hates you enough that you'll die. Usually these first two do just fine.
In brutal fashion, that all may hear of your arrival. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Yay, loot, 50 coins. That is not gonna amount to much in this game.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption. Leave nothing unchecked. There is much to be.
I suppose another thing that we could do is going
An ambush.
into situations, people can choose whether I snuff my torch, relight my torch, set it to a certain amount.
Welcome.
Sometimes I won't be able to make that choice because, like right now, I don't have torches, so I can't light it. I could snuff it and make things dark, causing more stress, all sorts of things. Like right now at light level 70, they have a small increase in stress, small increase in the chances that opponents deal crits, but I also have an increased chance of dodging, scouting chances are increased, and there's a really high likelihood that enemies will be surprised. So basically when you look at that, the reds are negatives, the yellows are positives. Basically the long and short of that. Anyway, here we go again.
A singular strike.
Also, these videos will probably be a lot more entertaining as I get people watching, or in instances where I have friends or family watching presently with me, as I generally don't talk too much when I'm playing games other than saltiness when I'm playing a multiplayer game. So yeah. For those of you that are familiar with it, I would imagine the differences to be kind of like back with the Lil Karibo themed Merrick Let's Plays. People asked why the person who voiced acted Merrick for Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged didn't just do Let's Plays in his own voice. He went and did a video like that. It was extremely boring. Meanwhile, when he does videos as Merrick, it's much more entertaining to go on and say it. I can think of at least once. It's like, ha! I am entertaining! In his Merrick voice. Like, meanwhile, that just wasn't the case when he was playing on his own. Some of it may have been that he picked a relatively boring game to play. You can be the judge of that.
A victory. Perhaps a turning point. Decimated. These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
A fortune, waiting to be spent.
I guess too, for anyone else that there might be
Such as it
become
is.
interested in these streams,
This squalid
I might
hamlet,
turn them
these
to.
corrupted lands,
Sorry, I'm talking
yours
over
now.
the caretaker.
and you are bound to them.
Well, not the caretaker, the ancestor who talks quite a lot despite being dead. I suppose what I should have been getting at was currently I have my streams as unlisted and I send invites to friends and family, and then once the stream itself is done I make them public. Depending on any feedback I receive on these videos, I might go back to making it public to start. In the past we've had instances, not so much myself but my wife, she's had where she enjoyed streaming Steven Universe Save the Light, but there was a person who would watch her video and harass her the whole time, and she was just trying to enjoy playing the games with some funny commentary, and it led to a largely negative experience. We still do Let's Plays with her of horror games when she plays them, but it's just kind of a case of, if we get negative response, we'll still make content and upload it, but we're not going to be as interactive as you might want us to be. So try to be respectful. We'll be respectful back. To that, yeah, sometimes we make stupid decisions. That's fine. Or if we ask for your input on how to play the game, that's fine too. But watching us play a game and spamming, use smoky quartz, use smoky quartz, use smoky quartz. We want to enjoy playing the game the way we want to play, and you know, using smoky quartz isn't always a viable option. It'll be like if I wanted to play Final Fantasy VII again and someone was like, use the cheats to always have limit breaks. That can be fun to do from time to time, but it eliminates the challenge of the game, and I for one like the challenge of the game. It might not seem quite so likely if you watch me play Call of Duty or Overwatch. I get incredibly salty if things aren't going well. But at the end of the day, if I'm just going through having the easiest time playing my game, unless if I'm playing with friends, odds are I didn't honestly have that much fun. It just kind of was a means to pass the time.
Women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses. All will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
So, for example, I don't need either of those upgrades quite yet. And normally in my playthroughs, I would have grabbed those upgrades because
will end up here,
it's my first place I check.
Awaiting merciful oblivion.
And it's like, oh yeah, I could get an upgrade.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Trinkets and charms, gathered from all the forgotten corners of the earth.
This one I might decide to take just to, because there's gear here I don't have yet, and I might as well make it so it doesn't use as much gold. I probably can pass on the wagon size upgrade for now, though, in favor of checking out over here again. Increase my hero barracks.
More arrive, foolishly seeking fortune and glory in this domain of the damned.
I also don't do that much customization with my characters outside of upgrades.
Your work begins.
Well, let's see. I'm probably going to use her primarily as a healer anyway. So the absolute backline probably will work better for her. Hi! Well, sorry. I did not mean to do that. Sneezes happen. Death blow resist. Armor pretty strong. Resist.
cost of preparedness, measured now in gold, later in blood.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage. Disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
Eradicated.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end. Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike. As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all. formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Foolish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
Ambushed by foul invention. Without tools of iron, you must rely on flesh and indefatigable purpose. chaos, but not this one. Not today.
Death by inches.
This expedition at least promises success. If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
We dug for months, years, an eternity. And we were rewarded with madness.
Fresh kegs, cards, and curtained rooms promise solace to the weary and broken alike. The cobwebs have been dusted, the pews set straight. The Abbey calls to the faithful. With enough ale, maybe they can be inured against the horrors below. All manner of diversion and dalliance await those who cross the threshold with coin in hand.
pace out the halls of your lineage once familiar. Now, foreign. Carelessness will find no clemency in this place. A fortune, waiting to be spent. The darkness holds much worse than mere trickery and boogeymen. Another abomination cleansed from our lands. Executed with impunity. Great is the weapon that cuts on its own. Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Fear and frailty finally claim their due.
Begone, fiend!
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten. Terrors may indeed stalk these shadows, but yonder, a glint of gold.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Becoming unwound. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Death by inches. Another one falls. Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. Darkness closes in, haunting the hearts of men. despondence set the stage for heroism or cowardice.
Festering fear consumes the mind.
Survival is a tenuous proposition in this sprawling tomb.
Gnawing uncertainty, the birthplace of dread.
Those who covet injury find it in no short supply.
Formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. A devastating blow.
Life ebbs. Terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
The horror.
Foolish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
The shifted corridors and sloped walls of our ancestry are beginning to feel familiar.
All the decadent horrors I have seen pale in comparison to that final, crowning thing. I could not look, nor could I look away.
This man understands that adversity and existence are one and the same. Make no mistake, we will face ever greater threats. Our soldiers must be ready. The bellows blast once again. The forge stands ready to make weapons of war.
Corruption has soaked the soil, sapping all good life from these groves. Let us burn out this